This is the Vaguely Nerdy Podcast, where each week this brother-sister duo gets together to discuss the box office, the latest film and TV scoops, our latest movie or show review, and what we're getting into next. We are your hosts,
Cheryl
and Jay.
All right, this week we watched, I think this was one of our most anticipated movies of the year. Got moved around a bunch, and we finally settled on a date. So this week we watched Mickey 17. So our trivia will be based on the people in Nats, because it was kind of hard. Are you ready?
Sure.
Robert Pattinson has a favorite video game. Can you guess what it is?
Robert Pattinson has a favorite video game.
And if you can't guess on the first try, I'll dwindle it down. But I'll just take a stab at it.
How long has this been around?
Very long time. It's an oldie.
Metal Gear Solid.
No.
Okay.
But equally as popular.
Old?
Ooh.
Okay.
Equally as popular. I don't know the ages, but it is an old time fave.
Okay. There are so many types of video games.
So it is story based. Like
okay.
Metal Gear.
Resident Evil?
Nope, you're getting darker.
Oh, not as dark.
Well, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not a horror. It's not horror based.
It's not horror based.
Fantasy based.
Elden Ring?
You're getting closer. You're getting closer.
Dark Souls?
Not as close. Think more fantasy. More fantasy.
More fantasy.
Mm-hmm. You like this
more
game
fantasy.
as well. I have to throw you some bone. You really like this game.
Baldur's Gate?
Nope.
Dragon Age?
No.
No.
keep going. Less dark.
Less dark. Final Fantasy?
Aha! Now which one?
Oh, okay.
There's only like 16.
Yeah.
So
okay.
pick wisely. I get 3 chances.
9.
No.
10.
Nope.
And
come on.
15.
God. No.
Okay.
One more. Just you. It's in there. Just
16.
think. 7. It's 7.
Really?
The most popular one.
I wouldn't have guessed.
It's 7. He said.
I thought that would be too obvious.
No.
Oh.
He said it is one of his favorite video games. Still one of the most, probably one of the only times I've cried in my life is when, spoiler alert, Aerith dies.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well.
He called it like a love triangle and all the other different stuff.
I didn't cry when Aerith died, but I got emotional when Tidus died in Final Fantasy X when it was revealed that he had to also die at the end.
Oh, yeah, because she was doing a little...
She was doing the sending, and he also started being sent.
Sending? I'm getting uploaded.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is Robert Pattinson's favorite. Now, this is an old interview, so I don't know if he's played the Rebirth, but according to him, the OG 7 is his original favorite.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's a gamer.
That makes sense.
We like actors who are also gamers.
We do.
It's very fun.
Yeah.
All right, so that is the trivia for this episode. Let's get into the rest of the episode.
Okay. Welcome, fellow movie buffs. I'm Jay.
I'm Cheryl.
Listen in as we break down movie and TV shows, tell you what's in the plot, and hear if we think you should have watched it when you had the chance.
Dun, dun, dun. All right, so this week we have a new movie announcement that I don't think we knew about this movie before, but
I heard about it a long time ago.
Oh, about the
movie
movie
happening.
Okay. Well, it's alive. So we'll talk about what movie that is. We have a interesting trailer for a series coming out on Apple TV, and then we got a nice little healthy bite of Buncha Crunch. So let's start off at the top.
Keanu Reeves is still making a comic book adaptation of one of his favorite comic books, BRZRKR.
Okay. You know what? I was waiting for you I was looking at you so intently because I was like, how do you say this? It's BRZRKR.
Yes.
Okay. And he co-created this, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, not just his favorite.
I mean, some people say weird things like, that's not my favorite. And you'd be like, but you created it. It's like, but it's not my favorite. Like,
yeah.
Anywho, go ahead.
So I don't know much about this comic book series.
I don't either. But I do know they had a panel at Comic-Con.
Yeah, they did.
People were very excited about it.
Yeah. So it's supposed to be heavy in the martial arts space. Actually, let's see. It says the comic follows an immortal warrior known as BRZRKR as he fights his way through the ages.
So he's like. So
Sifu.
Who was that?
It's like this video game that came out not too long ago called Sifu, where you play this guy and he continues to age through the game.
Okay.
Yeah.
This particular warrior is 80,000 years old. In
Okay.
case you were
So
wondering.
like Highlander Sifu.
He's like Thor. How old's Thor? Thor's pretty old.
Thor's
I don't know.
Not more than hundreds.
Oh, okay. Baby Thor. Yeah. Something else that's in this article for this movie is the man only knows B is half mortal, half god, cursed and compelled to violence, even at the sacrifice of his sanity. So all that, okay, I get it. After wandering the earth for centuries, B had finally found a refuge, working for the U.S. government to fight the battles too violent and too dangerous for anyone else. Anywho, in exchange, B will be granted the one thing he desires: the truth about his endless blood-soaked existence and how to end it.
So he wants to die. He's been promised the ability to die.
If you've been around for more than like 800 years, I'd be ready to like call it. Please, Lord, call it. So it sounds interesting though.
Sounds interesting. Sounds straightforward. Sounds like
John Wick.
Why John Wick was entertaining, because it was straightforward.
Thank you very
and
much.
blood soaked.
So, exactly, and we got
action packed.
I wonder if he looks like, I haven't looked up the comic, but I wonder if
he looks like Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, like, is he old though, or is he just like Keanu Reeves?
He's kind of like a muscular white guy that's got like long, stringy black hair. So
so he looks like
somebody very easily for Keanu Reeves to transform into.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if they like aged him up to be like old. I mean, he's 80,000. So I don't know.
He doesn't look 80,000. So
Gotcha.
He's probably just immortal.
Okay.
He probably just frozen his
in whatever age they decided was
late
best.
30s. Yeah.
Like, you look good right around here.
Yeah.
Don't age anymore. So this is actually going to be directed by Justin Lin, who, if sounds familiar, he is from the Fast and Furious franchise and then exited after some tumultuous issues. Yeah. But he's back in something different. Yeah. The script is going to be written by Mattson Tomlin, who also co-wrote, who was co-writing, the Batman 2. Mm-hmm. And he also wrote Project Power, which I think was on Netflix, but I didn't watch that movie.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So it's got some good people behind it. Yeah. People seem to really like Berserker. Yeah. So, and people love Keanu Reeves. So I'm thinking check.
And it's another comic book thing. So.
And it's original comic book thing, right?
Yes.
So we don't have
it is.
We don't have to do the whole, it's just Marvel slap. Now,
Yeah. Now it's Keanu Reeves slap.
We're not calling it slap. We're just regurgitating what the what do you call it? Comic book Twitter be saying about everything these days. So, we don't have any release date. This is just the director and then the writer. So, of course, as we learn more about this movie, we will let you know.
All right. So that's all the news for this week. Let's roll into the trailer park.
Toot. Beep. It's a short one. Let's hit it.
Okay, so the only trailer we have for this week is for The Studio. This is an Apple TV series that is going to premiere on March 26, 2026. It has an ensemble cast, a very long cast list of people who are all big A-level to B-level Hollywood stars at the time. Right now, like current. Everybody in this is pretty much currently like a star and working in something and in other stuff simultaneously. Right. And it seems like the actors. So it's a show about a series focused on the struggles of Matt Remick, who is played by Seth Rogen, and the show is also co-created by Seth Rogen.
Figures. Sounds right.
The newly appointed head of a fictional Continental Studios as he attempts to save the floundering company in an industry undergoing rapid social and economic changes.
So, WB?
So,
Searchlight? No, that's owned by Disney.
Basically, Seth Rogen is a movie producer.
He's Bob Iger. He's David Zaslav.
He's a movie producer. He's trying to make a film that is a blockbuster, but is also a prestige film at the same time, which is he's being told is impossible.
Right.
So he's working with his team and a bunch of other actors. It's going to be cameos in this series from other actors who are playing themselves and fictional characters as well.
Correct.
Working in the movie industry.
So there's a main cast. I think Kathryn Hahn is part of the main cast. It's like 4 actors that are part of the main cast that are not playing themselves. But everybody else on this cast list is like, I guess they're given, like you said, cameo roles.
Yeah. So like Kathryn Hahn, Catherine O'Hara, those seem to be playing fictitious people.
Who work with him.
Yeah.
But some of the people on the cast list that are playing themselves, we have Ice Cube, Zac Efron, Paul Dano, Adam Scott, Ron Howard. I'm not going to name everybody on this list. Zack Snyder. So they throw Zack Snyder about. Yeah. Anthony Mackie, Charlize Theron, Bryan Cranston, and Martin Scorsese.
Steve Buscemi too.
I mean, the list is long, but it's there's actually they must have had a review embargo lifted or something, because I've seen a couple posts about it and people say it's really funny.
So it looks like it's a better version of the franchise, which is what they tried to do on HBO Max.
But Apple TV always got the good stuff.
Apple TV always has the good stuff. Seth Rogen is a good writer.
Yes.
He does write and produce good stuff that isn't always vulgar, nasty cartoons.
Yeah, like, oh God, what is Sausage Party?
He's got another one coming out as well.
Oh, that's going to be
where it's basically Sausage Party with human cartoons, though.
No, I'm good.
Yeah.
That was a very interesting theater experience.
But yeah, it's basically the franchise, but done better with a better cast of people.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be a satire on Hollywood and the movie making industry and themselves.
It sounds like people like it. So yeah. I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah.
It sounds interesting enough. It's got enough people in it. I mean, all these darn cameos. It'll be a fun to call out everybody.
And Severance is wrapping up, so they need something
else to promote.
Yeah, to knock out Churn.
Hopefully promote.
Yeah.
Apple, don't forget the show's coming out. If you don't mind.
At least Seth Rogen will promote it. So.
And he has a good following, yeah. I feel like. So he'll at least post about it and Apple will be like, oh yeah, we forgot, repost.
Yeah. Okay, that is the last stop on the trailer park and the only stop. Let's dive into this Buncha Crunch.
All right, we got a lot of casting news. And we're just gonna start off with the most egregious one, which is Dewey is back for Scream 7. That's the tweet. David Arquette is somehow not alive, but is in the movie. His guts got put back in.
Yeah. So
what are we doing?
I don't think he's coming back from the dead. I don't think any of the dead people are coming back from the dead.
This is officially why you think they not, or you thought so before?
This is now officially why.
Okay, now you're like, there's no way. Okay,
no, I don't think they're coming back from the dead. But somebody did say that they may be doing deepfake FaceTime calls instead of regular phone calls. And they may be using these to like haunt Sydney by like doing FaceTime calls for the people that have died because of her. Now,
you know what would be cool if they're going to really modern this movie up? I really wish they were somehow able to take this back. Because now we're relying, like when Scream first came out, what year was that? 90s, right?
Yeah.
Somehow it would be cool if this was still a 90s movie and not a 2026 movie.
You mean if they went back in the past?
Well, and then they have like the technology to do something like a deep fake. Like that wouldn't be. Yeah. It's just, I feel like it's relying. They're gonna rely on that too much for plot.
I think Scream always has to move forward.
Yeah,
into the future.
Right.
They always have to like pick up something new. But this does. When they were announcing that they were bringing back all of these dead people in the beginning, I was like, this is giving me major, like, unserious Scream 3 vibes. And this also reminds me, if they're going the deep fake thing, it reminds me of how not well at all people took the voice modulator in Scream 3.
Okay.
Because that technology still doesn't exist.
Yeah. It's not as good.
So.
Yeah, they have to make it. There's always reality or current time based. So they have to be now. But I hope. I don't know. I'm really curious about the plot. Every time we talk about this movie, I say the same thing. Like, what is the plot?
Yeah.
And it's Mark Consuelos is still a killer. So
Mark Consuelos is absolutely.
Why are we still adding more people to this? We already figured out the mystery, guys. Yeah. But we'll see. We'll see. Have they started filming this?
I don't think so.
They need to start.
No.
Oh, they got a year, so they're fine. I guess.
Yeah.
Whatever.
All right. In other horror movie news, Kathryn Newton, who we previously saw in Abigail, and she is in the MCU as Stature. She's Ant-Man's daughter.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I was like, who?
Yeah, that's her. That's
a comic book name.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's been casted in Ready or Not 2 alongside Samara Weaving, who also was announced at the same day, like a few minutes before that she was coming back. They were announced returning simultaneously.
Oh, I thought we already knew about Samara Weaving.
No, I think it was just rumored. But they had announced her the same day that it was official.
They cut that check.
Yeah.
Okay. You have shown me parts of Ready or Not 2. I don't know if I've seen it from the beginning. I've seen like a kill count video for it.
Yeah, okay.
It looks really good.
Yeah, so you got the gist of it. It's in the same vein as Abigail, where it's campy horror comedy.
So I would look forward to this.
Yeah, I'm interested to see where this story is going to pick off at.
I was just about to say, I don't know what's going to happen in this.
Maybe she didn't actually, maybe her verbally renouncing the marriage wasn't enough to actually divorce from the family.
Maybe Kathryn Newton is like a long lost sister or something.
Or is she a relative of the late Omas family?
And that means she technically is still married or something?
So both of them are like technically related or something. I don't know how this factors in. Or is it an entirely new game with a new curse?
What are they trying to kill each other? That would be interesting.
Or that, yeah.
Huh.
Interesting.
Yeah. As you can tell, we don't have no plot details. We're trying to make them up. I don't think we have a release date either. So, but that's exciting. That's a good casting. Like it matches.
I think it's going to be made by Radio Silence again, which they also made Abigail.
If it's Abigail, and we did a review of Abigail.
Yeah, we liked Abigail.
And it was pretty good. So definitely, I mean, it had a little weirdness, but check it out. It was a good movie.
And we like Kathryn Newton in it. She was funny.
We did. And she was, what else is Kathryn Newton from?
She is from Freaky.
Okay.
She's the main girl in Freaky that I like. Ant-Man.
Okay, maybe that's where I more know her from. I was like, I wonder if
she was in that Lisa Frankenstein movie that just came out not too long ago.
Okay. Nope, didn't see that either. Okay, so I most know her from Ant-Man and Abigail then. Okay, cool.
Oh, and Bad Teacher. I forgot she was in Bad Teacher.
She's also in Lady Bird.
She was so young in that Bad Teacher.
Okay, she racking up a filmography. So, good for her. This sounds like it'll be fun.
Next scoop of crunch, Matthew Modine, who is from Stranger Things, is set to join the cast of Godzilla X Kong.
He's probably
the sequel.
This will be the third. Yes.
So yes, this will be the third.
So I wonder what they're gonna call it.
Collaboration between the two.
We had Godzilla X Kong. We had Godzilla versus Kong.
Godzilla and Kong.
Godzilla the Kong.
Godzilla with Kong.
Godzilla Kongin. Maybe. It's gonna be something goofy.
Oh yeah, sure. It's gonna be something ridiculous.
But yeah, I mean, with all these movies, we're kind of like sure about the human characters. We're more focused on the monsters.
Yeah.
This movie needs more Godzilla and a little less Kong.
Yeah.
But we'll see how.
The last two movies have been very Kong heavy.
They have,
so
and he plays
some Godzilla appreciation.
He plays like the evil doctor in Stranger Things, so I'm automatically pegging him as the evil doctor in this movie.
Yeah, he's got to be like the evil corporate guy. They always have to have one.
Yes, and he's probably gonna get some ash or something. But good for him. Good for him.
Janet McTeer is joining. She's in negotiations to join the cast of the HBO Max reboot of Harry Potter.
The series, not the movies.
So she's in negotiations to play Minerva McGonagall. Papa Isidou, who is from I May Destroy You, is in talks to play Professor Severus Snape for the Harry Potter series. And Jan McTeer, you just recently saw in The Menu.
I watched The Menu, y'all.
Sure, finally watched The Menu.
It was good. If you haven't seen it, I watched it on the plane. Highly recommend it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be eating though. Just watch it. I know it's about food, but you should not eat.
Okay.
That's all I'm gonna say.
No, it's not a dinner movie.
They don't eat people, as I previously thought.
They do not eat people.
No. No people were eaten.
The food was made of shame, not people.
Yeah. And no bread.
Yeah. Yeah.
So check that out. But also,
Janet McTeer, I think, would make a good McGonagall.
Yes.
Much
and I
younger.
was about to say thoughts and prayers. Papa
Isidou.
Yeah. He is black and he's playing Severus Snape, and we already know how people get about things like that.
Yeah.
So thoughts and prayers to his inbox. I'm assuming he already knew this was gonna come, but it's interesting. It's an interesting lineup.
Yeah, I
don't know about the series.
What grabs me about this is that all the professors are going to be much younger, except for Dumbledore. I mean, I guess
Dumbledore could be.
I mean, they're casting much younger,
right?
Mm-hmm.
They probably no. I don't know why they would change the age from the books, or make them look different. Yeah. Make them look younger than the movies.
Yeah,
like we've already. I don't know.
Because Janet McTeer is much younger than.
She's younger than Maggie Smith. John Lithgow's probably younger than both. I don't know why they're doing that. And this guy playing Snape is much younger than
Alan Rickman.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I don't. This series is shaping up to be quite interesting. I don't know how they're about to drag these movies out over a TV show, drag these books out over a TV show. But we'll see.
I wonder if they've casted the students yet, or if they're just.
It's probably.
Or if I wonder if they've already done it and they're just sitting on it and rolling it out slowly or last until they roll out the cast or finalize the cast of the adults.
It'll probably be
because they know everybody's looking for. I mean, of course, the professors are important, and we want to know who's playing the professors. But much more importantly, we want to hear the casting of Harry and Ron and Hermione. And
I don't think they're going to be
Weasleys.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be known. I don't think they're getting.
No, they're not going to be known, but
they're probably saving them.
Yeah,
for the end.
That's true. That doesn't have. There's going to be no names.
Yeah,
they're very, very young.
Yep, probably so. And they're gonna have to stay. They have to cast young so the kids can grow up.
Yeah,
for the show. Interesting.
Next scoop of crunch: Taylor Russell will star in the Thomas Crown Affair alongside Michael B. Jordan. We talked about this a while ago.
I have an error to admit.
No.
When you said Taylor Russell, I thought Taylor Page. Wrong Black Taylor actress.
Oh, you mean yesterday?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I was like, oh, Taylor Page, because I was like, oh, she's in the Jonathan Majors movie coming out. Wrong Taylor.
So who's Taylor Page?
Taylor Page. She's in the Jonathan Majors movie coming out. Yes, you were right. Taylor Russell is from Bones and All, and you mentioned another movie.
Okay.
So you know Taylor Russell. I do not know Taylor Russell.
So who's going to be in the Thomas Crown Affair?
Zola Russell.
Okay, Taylor Russell.
I was wrong yesterday thinking it was Taylor Page.
Where is Taylor Page from?
She is from the Zola show, the Zola movie.
Okay.
And she's also in Magazine Dreams. That's only two.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Taylor Russell, I know her from Escape Room.
Okay.
She was the lead actress in Escape Room. It's a movie about escape rooms.
Basically, I remember the trailer for this.
It's an organization of shadow people set up escape rooms and make people like battle through them.
I've seen the trailer for this. Yeah. Okay.
And she was in Bones and All.
Okay.
Where she played a cannibal.
Nice.
With Timothée Chalamet.
Interesting.
So she's going to be in the Thomas Crown Affair, where she will not be eating people. She will be investigating a jewel thief who will be played by Michael B. Jordan. We talked about this a while ago. This was originally played by Pierce Brosnan. Mm-hmm. We expect James Bond-esque acting and cinematography.
It's gotta be
luxury.
It's gotta be sexy. It's gotta be luxurious. Mm-hmm. We gotta be traveling.
It's gotta look rich.
Clean cuts, pristine.
Mm-hmm.
So I know who she is. I just haven't seen her or anything. And I think she fits the part. Yeah.
So he's supposed to be playing an art thief, not a jewel thief.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And she's going to be playing the insurance investigator who is looking for him, and they fall for each other.
Like James Bond.
Yeah. I have to rewatch the original Thomas Crown Affair.
It's
been way too long.
You probably can guess what happened. I'm sure. I wonder if they're gonna switch anything up though.
Okay.
From the original. Because they have the writer. I looked up the writer that's doing this, and I think the most thing that popped out was like Hobbs and Shaw or something. So we'll see. And Michael B. Jordan directed Creed 3, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, this would be a nice follow up to Sinners.
Yeah. Or I wonder if this or I Am Legend 2 will come first.
I feel like this will get made faster.
Probably.
Yeah.
I Am Legend requires some, more. Yeah. It's probably bigger budgeted.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. So shout out to Taylor Russell. Yeah. And also shout out to Taylor Page.
Yes.
I know you, girl. I know
Taylor's all around. Last scoop of crunch is the Resident Evil movie finally has a release date. It's going to release on September 18th, 2026 in theaters. It is going to be directed once again by Zach Krieger, we mentioned before in the past.
Yep.
Previous film he directed was Barbarian. I like that. Cheryl, I saw it. Cheryl did not. Cheryl won't.
I'm not watching it.
Cheryl's not watching that.
I ain't watching this.
She won't watch Resident Evil either.
Nope.
But, which is sad because this will probably be the best one. Because it'll be actually based on like the game lore.
People seem very excited.
Which should have been based on in the very beginning.
I just think it's funny that Resident Evil keep getting movies. Period.
That's because
who's paying for this?
One man continued to cast his wife in all the movies,
but somebody kept paying for it.
At one point, funded most of them himself. So
listen, it's just funny that this franchise is one that's kind of like it's kind of like what's the other franchise? What is the comic book character has the horns coming out of his head?
Hellboy?
Yes.
Yeah.
They keep making those.
That's
like,
because the source material is good and there's actual good stuff to pull from there.
Just somebody gonna
people
need
just
to get
never
it right.
choose to.
Okay.
They choose to extrapolate crap out of their own minds.
It's funny. I was like, this is like Hellboy keep getting movies. How does somebody's committed. So shout out to Resident Evil fans because y'all getting another movie and hopefully this one is worth y'all time.
I wonder what this was going to be based on. There's so many games. There's 8 now. So
maybe they make some sort of original.
And they don't all go in chronological order. Sometimes they play side by side. The timeline of Resident Evil is very interesting. Like Resident Evil 2 and 3 kind of take place simultaneously, but are about different characters in the same city. Though. In the same city.
Do they run into each other in the game?
They don't run into each other in 2 or 3. Oh. The characters in 2 and the characters in 3 are in the same city at the same time. They don't run into each other in their own perspective stories, but they do kind of run into each other later on in other sequels down the line.
Yeah, that's straightforward.
It's kind of like a Fast and Furious thing.
Okay.
Of cast members all getting together and splitting off and having spinoffs.
Gotcha. Well, thoughts and prayers to this movie. I hope it's good.
All right. Well, that is all the movie news, Trailer Parks, and Crunch for this week. We are going to take a short break and get into our review of the week, which is Mickey 17.
Yeah. This week, we watched Mickey 17, which was released on March 7th, 2025. The director is Bong Joon-ho, which if he sounds familiar to you, he is the director of Parasite. Now, he's directed some other movies. I ain't seen those. I actually ain't seen Parasite either. But this movie, it was a Best Picture winner for the Oscars. So that's why this one is so popular. So casting characters of Mickey 17 include Robert Pattinson, who plays Mickey 17 and 18. We have Naomi Ackie, who plays Nasha. Steve Ewan plays Timo, and then we have Mark Ruffalo and Toni Collette, who play Kenneth and Yelfa? Marshall. Elfa.
Yeah.
Okay. They play husband and wife. Last name is Marshall. So
yes.
Kenneth and Ilfa.
You called him Elf. You called her Elfa.
I'm gonna jack that up all episode. The Marshalls. We'll go with that. The runtime is 2 hours 17 minutes, which you can kind of feel. Yeah. We'll get into that in our review. Budget is $118 million. Current box office $7.7 million opening day domestically, and it's projected to do around $20 million opening weekend, which not fantastic.
No,
given its budget.
Yeah. So
we will see if this has long legs. Ratings, cinema score is a B, which, I mean, it ain't stellar, but it ain't terrible.
No.
Somewhere in the middle. So take that as you will.
Yep.
Currently critics have it at a 79 on Rotten Tomatoes, and audience has it at 75. So 7 out of 10, 7 to 8 out of 10 people like it, depending on the audience.
Audiences are closer in alignment than.
Yeah, which just don't always hit.
Nope.
Not frequently. So I'm sure. Interesting. We're going to get into our review here with Jay giving us the plot of Mickey 17.
So the plot of Mickey 17 is Robert Pattinson plays Mickey Barnes.
Yes.
Who has signed up to become an expendable. We watch him all the way up to an expendable, which means that he will be used during space exploration as an expendable employee so they can test how dangerous everything is along the way.
He's a test dummy.
Yeah. And he will die and they can just reprint him out.
Yeah.
We are up to number 17 of Mickey's deaths. And unfortunately, there has been a mishap.
Snafu.
And they have printed another copy of him early.
Yeah.
And they are both fighting to survive.
Pretty much.
Because only one can live. It's like Highlander rules.
Right. It's a rule, a law, essentially, that if multiples, only one is allowed to go.
Yeah.
So, thank you for the plot. We're going to now get into our non-spoiler thoughts before we spoil the movie completely. I'm going to have you go first on your non-spoiler thoughts.
Non-spoiler thoughts. I thought the film was okay. I do think it was overly long. Yeah. I do think it was well acted, though, but it just had some pacing issues, particularly in the middle of the film. I did like the way it did exposition and backstory.
I'll give you that.
I did enjoy the science behind how they used Mickey.
Okay.
Not like them torturing him and killing him.
Right,
but
okay.
The ways that they used him to like, this is how we perform our space exploration. This is how we discover diseases.
You like seeing how they did things.
This is how we discover diseases. This is how we discover cures. This is how we root out stuff like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I like the backstory for how Expendables came to be.
Okay.
There was a lot of good writing choices in there.
Okay.
Some of the characters were frustrating.
Yeah.
Main characters, not side characters.
I agree.
A lot of the main characters were frustrating.
That cast list ain't that long, so.
No, it got a little Starship Troopery for me.
I saw somebody else say that
for a second.
I saw somebody else say that.
Talking about propaganda. And
there's a political undertone in this, yeah.
And colonization. It's very Starship Troopery, and it's campy, and a lot of it is played for laughs.
True.
But it was mostly entertaining.
Okay.
It had some slow parts that dragged. The last half an hour, I think, dragged. It felt like an hour, the last half an hour, especially when they made it very clear what we had to do to solve the problem. at the end of the movie, but they still took a full half an hour to do it. And it's like, well, if you just do this, it'll all be solved.
We'll be out of here.
Movie making. That's all I want to give away for my 9 spoiler.
So for my 9 spoiler thoughts, I echo a lot of what you had to say, particularly about the pacing and some of the characters being a little aggravating. I will add that this kind of felt more of like a romantic sci-fi movie. A little bit. Okay. And I wasn't expecting the romance. I mean, it's rated R, and it's not just rated R for the violence. I guess we see Robert Pattinson's butt briefly. There's a little bit of nudity, but there's also some characters doing the do. So it was more of there was some romantic parts in there, which I didn't mind. And I'm not going to say The Gorge is better than this movie, but I like the romance and the gore better than this. So take that as you will. It's just, I don't know, it clicked.
They gave them better moments in this than The Gorge, but they were separated by a gorge for most of The Gorge.
Okay, so. Right, and they had to find a unique way to communicate versus here they were like living.
They didn't have to hide their relationship in this.
Correct, which I thought was actually kind of interesting that they let Expendables like have lives.
I mean, might as well, you're dying.
Correct, and maybe they didn't really care, but it is a little bit more of a romantic sci-fi movie to me. There was a message in the movie, like you mentioned, of like working class and unethical testing and treating people and dictatorship and all that, laws and laws apply propaganda, things like that. But some of the characters took it a little too, like it was a little overacting. Just a little bit by some of them. I was
it kind of seemed like a parody.
I wasn't able to take the message seriously because of how the characters were portraying it.
Okay.
So that kind of muddied that a little bit. And then I'll save this part about the different Mickeys until we get to spoilers. But I thought Robert Pattinson and Naomi Ackie's acting was good. They were my 2 favorite. There's some side characters in here that I was like, anybody could have played this role. Honestly, I mean, outside of Mark Ruffalo, I think everybody else could have been anybody, to be very honest. But, I mean, they didn't really add much to the movie.
I thought that Naomi Ackie was probably my standout.
Fair enough.
In this.
I would put her and Robert together, but she did really good in this.
She did.
She did really good. I hope this propels her to be in more movies.
Yeah. She's good with action.
She is good with action. She's good with action. She's good with emotion. She's good with and we kind of saw that in Blink Twice, where she can kind of play like somebody who's like scared and danger, but she could also play somebody who's gonna fight and kick your behind. Yeah. So that was good. So I liked her in this. The other supporting cast, I was kind of like, meh, you're here. That's cool. That's nice. So
yeah,
that is it. I think for my 9 spoiler thoughts.
All right, so that is all of our non-spoiler thoughts. We're going to get into the spoiler section of our review, and we're going to start with the characters. And let's start with Robert Pattinson as Mickey Barnes, also Mickey 17 and 18.
He did good.
And 1 through 16.
Oh, right. He did good playing multiples. So there we have several scenes where we have a couple of shots where they are together. So I guess something I didn't mention that the production design and the CGI was good in this. So, but whenever Robert Pattinson was in the same shot playing 17 and 18, it didn't look goofy.
No.
So he did a good job because 17 and 18 have 2 different personalities, which I'll touch on later.
Yeah.
But he did a very good job of making it like 17 and 18 were almost 2 different people. And you're like, y'all the same guy, but y'all look the same. Y'all twins. Yeah. So he did very good in that. I don't know if I love the voice that he put on. Like
for 17?
Yeah, like 17.
They have different accents too.
17 is obviously a little. I don't try not.
17 is like it's like a squeaky Boston, like a scratchy, squeaky Boston voice.
You can hear it in the trailer. So if you've seen the trailer, you know what it sounds like. But I don't know why. Like the accent was just not.
Maybe just portraying a person from a particular area. I don't.
And maybe he was just trying to make 17 and 18 so distinct, so he felt like he had to talk. 17 had to talk totally different.
Yeah, because 18 didn't have a particular accent.
No,
he just sounded like he could be from anywhere.
Exactly. Yeah. So that was a little. I don't know what the choice was behind that, but I got over it, I guess, after a little while. Because at first I was like, I'm not going to enjoy hearing him talk like this the whole time. So that was cool. He did Robert Pattinson can act. So the issues that I had with this movie wasn't his acting.
No.
He did pretty good. I think at the end, it does get very Starship Troopery. that didn't have anything to do with him. That's all like plot and writing and whatnot. But not my favorite Robert Pattinson role.
No.
But
no.
He did okay. And Mickey, and I guess we can talk about Mickey 17 and 8. We're in spoilers. So Mickey 17 is who we are with most of the movie. And I thought this movie was interesting. It's called Mickey 17. It's based on a book called Mickey 7. We don't spend no time with Mickey 2 through 16.
No.
They just get reprinted and we see them die, which is a good part of the movie. But we spend most of our time with 17 and 18. So I thought it was weird that when 18 eventually gets printed out and we meet him, he's like this super aggressive, rude counter.
Yeah, he's like an evil twin.
Yeah, he's like an evil twin. And I don't feel like the movie did a very good job of explaining why 17 and 18 were so different. Because we didn't get to see 2 through 16 be different.
They do a line drop that basically Mickey talks about because he has a girlfriend who's played by Naomi Ackie.
Right.
And his girlfriend, he mentions that she mentioned to him that sometimes his copies come out a little different. So I guess there was a line drop that over time, the personalities kind of change after a certain amount of copies are made.
Right. And I guess I would have liked to see, and I would have preferred to trim something versus add more time to the movie. I would have liked to see 2, 3, 4, or 10, 11, just to see how different they were. So when we got rude, aggressive 18, it was like, oh, okay, this is the rude, aggressive one. This makes sense.
But even he mentioned how 18 was starkly different.
Yeah.
Was drastically different in personality from the rest of his versions.
Pretty darn different.
Yeah, like he'd never seen one as crazy as him before.
No, but Robert Pattinson did a good job of making them totally different, so I just rode along with it. Overall, the movie is pretty straightforward. Like, there's not, I thought about this earlier, there's not a plot twist in this movie at all.
No, the plot twist is that he's duplicates. And that's the only thing. They don't introduce
in the beginning. Right.
Anything. They don't, well, not twist. Interesting new plot threads. I wouldn't say the aliens were a twist. But
yeah, there's no major like reveal.
Yeah.
Essentially. You can kind of, to be honest, you can guess how this movie ends.
Yeah.
Before we get to the ending.
Yeah.
Try to guess it and then let us know if you guessed it right when we get to that part.
The way it should.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
Kind of.
I mean, what else would it be? Right. So the movie's pretty straightforward. But Robert Pattinson did good as Mickey 17 and 18. I would have liked a little explanation as to why 17 and 8. I would have liked to seen the different other Mickeys to have a little more context of why 17 and 18 were so different.
Yeah, so the other Mickeys we only get in a 30-minute flashback that takes place in the beginning of the movie.
Right.
The beginning of the movie is pretty much just a flashback.
Yeah. But you like that part, right?
I did. So that's when we see how he signed up and his first couple of deaths. It seems like they don't always tell him. They pretty much rarely tell him when they're going to deliberately set him up for death.
Which was sad.
The scientists, they use it as an element of surprise. It seems like they get a sick sense of entertainment from watching him die.
Because they want like the human reaction or the human experience. So they like send him off and he's like doing his thing and they're like watching him really intently. You're like, why are y'all staring at him so bad?
And the commentary in the working class kind of comes in because they treat him so unhumanely.
Disposable.
Just because he is a expendable human,
right?
They treat him like he's disposable when essentially he's kind of immortal.
He is, and he's actually providing valuable.
Yeah,
his deaths are providing valuable information.
Literally, each one of his sacrifices is a scientific leap for them. They sent him out on planet Niflheim, which is the planet that they're going to colonize, which has a deadly virus in the air that makes it unbreathable for humans. So they sent him out there to go collect the virus in his lungs. And he dies, and they develop that DNA to create a cure.
Right.
And from that, they're able to walk the surface without helmets.
Right.
And they don't really acknowledge his purpose in that at all.
You don't get no type of reward, no medal, and they have to kill him like multiple times. It ain't like a one-shot deal. They had to kill him like 3 or 4 times to get the vaccine to work. So the people in charge of this, including the scientists, are pretty trash.
Yeah.
And that's part of the messaging of the movie.
And they explain that according to the law, it's kind of flimsy because law gets hazy once you enter, just like international water, once you enter international space.
Right.
You can't be held to the law on the
planet. Because ain't nobody been here.
So, so far, only only one expendable is allowed per expedition. So he's their only expendable, and they treat him like garbage. So
such garbage.
Yeah.
And I guess that part, at the beginning of the movie, I was like, are we about to feel like sad this entire time? Because you do feel bad for Mickey. 17. You do feel bad for him.
But they interject a lot of levity in it, so you don't feel sad the whole movie.
Yes, there is a little comedy breakup here and there, so that was good.
I thought he did a good job portraying both characters. I thought that Mickey 18 was the most frustrating out of the two.
Okay, fair enough.
Mickey 18 was nuts. He was extremely violent. He was pretty much a psychopath.
He called him a psychopath.
Immediately when 17 comes home, what happens is 17 goes out on a expedition by himself. He falls into an ice cavern and is attacked by these aliens. Do we know what the aliens are called?
Creepers.
Is that
that's the name Mark Ruffalo's character gives them. I don't know what their actual name is
because they're not given any other name in the movie at all. So I don't know how to explain what they are.
They're like armadillos.
Giant armadillos with multiple arms and legs, and they have like tentacle mouths. They're like elephants a little bit. Yeah. It looks like skin texture. They're
like armadillos on the top part, and then underneath they're like squid.
Yeah.
A little bit.
So these little alien creatures, he falls into a cave of them, and they don't kill him. He thinks they're going to kill him.
Yep.
And Stephen Yeun is flying by, and he's like, I'm going to let headquarters know that you're about to die so they can just print another one of you out in the morning.
Right.
But instead of killing them, they rescue him and let him out of their cave. And send him home. But unfortunately, the corporation already made a copy. So when he gets home and gets in bed, there's already 18 in bed waiting for him. So instead of, like you mentioned, them teaming up, because the law is if there are more than one expendable, more than one copy, all copies have to die, and the memory bank that they use to make the copies has to be deleted. So it's permanent death after that. And the reason is because they do a good backstory about Manakova, who is a serial killer / scientist who invented the concept of making copies because he would make copies of himself so that he would murder homeless people because he's a serial killer.
Still living his life.
And also have another copy somewhere else to fulfill the alibi.
Right. And the cool part about that was they thought it was only 2 initially. So they arrest the 2, and there was this whole, Mickey explains the whole thing of like, they didn't know, like, do they get double life, half life? Do they convict one? Is one just an accomplice? Whatever. But then they find out after they put the 2 in jail that the homeless people are still getting killed. And then that's how they find a 3rd one. Yeah. So the guy had 2 other copies walking around.
Yeah. And the most interesting part of that was it opened up the legal questions. Is it a collaboration? Or is one a mastermind? Is there a Manakova Prime and a Manakova Beta that takes the orders and gives the order? They didn't even know how to legally charge them for this. So I like that part of it.
Right. And as a result, they banned it on Earth, but Kenneth Marshall makes the law, or somehow the law comes about, you can have 1 in space per colony.
Right. Yes. So 18 is immediately like, I need to kill you.
Right.
And I thought that was weird. You had pointed out, like, why didn't you guys just team up and figure out a way to, like, alternate shifts? 17 had suggested that. He takes odd days. The other one takes even.
Naomi Ackie even suggested it at one point.
Naomi Ackie even suggested it. But 18 is just stuck on being homicidal. He wants to kill somebody. So he decides he's going to kill Kenneth Marshall.
Yeah.
Who is the head of the expedition.
He's pretty much like the president of wherever they're going.
Yeah.
Or so wherever they're going to establish, he's about to be their new president.
Yeah. And I guess I'll leave that there until we get to who Kenneth Marshall is later on.
Gotcha. So let's next go to Nasha, who is played by Naomi Ackie. She is essentially Mickey Barnes' girlfriend. She's also a security agent, and she has like a bunch of different jobs. That's one thing I feel like I had a question. I was like, what does everybody else do? Because there's a 4-year journey to get from Earth to whatever they're going, Niflheim, the planet they're going to colonize. So in between all that, I guess they've established a society with like security guards and firefighters, and everybody got a job to do apparently. I was like, what is everybody else doing? Because y'all just kind of walking around eating this nasty food. Anywho, so Naomi Ackie was good in this. I like her. This was a different character than what we saw in Blink Twice.
Much different.
her Blink Twice character was super frustrating. But in this, she was cool. She's definitely the more dominant of the pair, especially over Mickey 17. We kind of get the backstory of how they met, how they fall in love, and it's interesting because she stays with Mickey through every death.
Yes.
So she's there from 1 till 17 and 18, essentially. So I like the scenes that we get later in the movie where Mickey's like going through testing and whatnot. And she actually gets into like the chamber with him, and she's got on like a hazmat suit or whatever. But she's actually like, she's not just with him because she thinks it's cool to be with somebody who's an expendable. They actually seem like they have a genuine relationship, which is interesting because she got a new person every time he died. But anyway, and she actually liked 18. That was the great part. Like, she ain't had no qualms with 18 being a psycho. So I thought that was kind of strange.
Yeah, and he mentions that she loves all versions of him. She always finds something to love in every version of him. And
psychopath was
and they explain that he's not too different because every time they copy, they upload a week's worth of memories as a data backup.
So each one is not a new person because they have the previous one's memories.
Yeah.
Which I thought was, at first I was like, why don't y'all just make them whole again? But he would have to relearn the ship and who everybody was. So I was like, okay, that makes sense that y'all copy his memories over so he don't have any gaps or whatnot. So, right. But she did good. I didn't really have any qualms about her character. At the end, she's definitely pro, like, keeping the Mickeys alive. So she doesn't like the way that he's treated. She's not a super fan of the Expendables program or whatever. She's the one who's kind of like leading the charge through the movie. She is like the protagonist more even so than Mickey is in a sense sometimes.
Yeah,
Mickey 17.
She's an additional protagonist.
Right. And then at the end she has like a couple of speeches that I thought were a little forced, but I think that was just writing. I don't think that was her. But overall, I liked her character. She was good. Yeah.
I liked her character. Like I said, I think she did action really well. I liked her. Her forced moment at the end was tough. But
okay, so we agree with that. All right.
But I liked it for her. I feel like she said what needed to be said.
She did.
I feel like it just could have been said earlier.
It was too many F-bombs. I was like, every other word was like an F-bomb. Like,
she was angry.
The message is breaking up because of the F words.
But I'm glad they gave her a lot to do, especially in the third act.
Agree.
She had a lot to do in the third act. She was
wasn't
very
just
important.
A stand-in girlfriend.
She seemed to be the only person in the cast who was capable of doing anything.
Agree.
Because Mickey did seem to be either of the Mickeys.
She was, like I said, she was definitely the protagonist more so than 17 because he a little weak link.
Yeah.
Which is 18's issue with him, but he took it too far.
I liked she was funny. Like you said, it played with the action comedy like The Gorge did, but they gave them more scenes together than they gave Miles Teller and Anya Taylor-Joy in The Gorge. I like the scenes that they gave them together. I like that she would crawl into the nerve gas tank with them.
Right, that was nice.
So that he would die alone.
Right.
I liked how serious she got about him at all times. When the guys, whenever people would keep asking Mickey what it's like to die, she would cause a fight. She didn't like when girls would talk to him.
Nope, she didn't like either.
She was very protective of Mickey.
All the Mickeys.
And I enjoyed that. So I thought she did a really good job.
Yeah. She was definitely, I agree with you. She was a highlight.
Yeah.
For sure. Robert did good, but she was definitely a highlight.
Stephen Ewan as Timo. He is basically Mickey's childhood friend who goes on the expedition with them because, spoiler alert, they're both on this expedition because they're technically on the run from a loan shark.
Yes, who's trying to basically kill them both.
Yeah, so this loan shark has the ability to find people all over the planet, so they decided to leave the planet and go to space.
Because they said in the beginning, he said, no matter what part of Earth you go to, we will find you.
Right.
So Mickey doesn't read the contract when he signs up to be an expendable, and that's how he ends up being expendable, and Timo does not. Because
he ends up being a pilot.
Yeah, pilot. Yeah. But Timo's a horrible friend, by the way. He's not good. Stephen Ewan did fine, but I honestly felt like this role could have been played by anybody. And
this part was super small. Important part, I was thinking about whether or not this character could have been cut completely.
Okay.
And I guess the only thing that he did that really came in handy is that if he hadn't come try to kill Mickey with the chainsaw, they wouldn't have been able to escape.
Fair enough.
But outside of that, he has an extremely small role in there.
Because the loan shark eventually makes it to their planet somehow. And Timu was like, okay, the only way I'm getting out of this is if I kill Mickey. Like they said, I got to kill you. So they need to bust out to not be killed or whatever. So but literally anybody.
Yeah.
It could have been it. He didn't do bad. It was just kind of like, and I wonder, earlier today, I was like, I wonder if he gave this role up to not do Sentry in Thunderbolts. Because there was a scheduling conflict, and I don't remember what the scheduling conflict was. And I was like, I wonder, because it's not Beef.
I hope not,
because he's not in Beef.
I hope not, because Thunderbolts is actually shaping up to be something really spectacular, and his role in this was so small.
It was
and ineffective.
It didn't seem like it was made to even be bigger. I'm about to actually look it up real quick because I'm curious. It doesn't say. It just says scheduling conflicts brought about, but it doesn't say what the conflict was for.
Could be because this came out and this Thunderbolts is coming out soon.
Same time. Yeah. Personal scheduling conflict. Interesting. But
he did good, but his role was so small. So,
minor.
Super
minor. I mean, I almost contemplated not putting him on this list so we could just get going.
Other than that, he is also a drug dealer on the ship as well.
Yes.
So he sells oxy, which is some synthesized form of, I don't know, some type of
oxycodone
drug that's used in the flamethrowers.
Yeah. And he's got like the pure or diluted or whatever. So yeah, he's also a drug dealer.
Yeah. So throughout the movie, there are scenes where he is either selling oxy to people or people are doing oxy, and you know that he's involved in that because he's the only person distributing it.
So he's a drug dealer.
Yeah.
And a trash frame.
Mark Ruffalo and Toni Collette played Kenneth and Ilsa Marshall.
So I'll start off with Toni Collette.
So the Marshalls are the ones who are leading the expedition.
Yes.
Being funded by a church.
Yes. So they're like cult leaders. They're like dictators, cult leaders, president of wherever they about to go.
Yeah. So this church has chose them to be the face of this expedition to colonize a new planet, a pure white planet. They use that term. They did, but they didn't. I was waiting for them to say a pure white planet for a pure white race, but a pure white planet for just a pure race.
Yeah.
They're not racist.
I wonder if white was there and they scratched it out the script. Like, actually,
not particularly racist,
not do that.
But
it's giving racist vibes. Though.
Yeah, it's definitely giving like a genetic elitism.
Well, there's a scene in the movie where another character they invite to dinner and they want her to start like oh, you have the perfect genes and you're a perfect specimen
because she's just pretty.
She was like, you just want my uterus, and they're like, no, that's not. They're like,
literally what they
right. So they're weirdos. Toni Collette, I love Toni Collette. No issues with her acting, but also felt like she could have been played by anybody.
The characters, they didn't do anything like
significant.
Yeah, significant.
It was just she was the wife who was always at his side, you know, either assisting him and encouraging him to be more goofy and stupid, or she was on her own acting stupid and extra herself.
Yeah,
and I was just like, okay.
They are our villains.
Yes.
For all intents and purposes, they're the villains, and they just were too campy and kooky and played for laughs, and nothing that they did was serious. No. So it kind of undercut the danger. And then at the end, when Mark Ruffalo wanted to get murdery, it got a little weird. It was like, okay, well, you've been goofy this whole movie, and now all of a sudden you want to be Hitler.
Right. Now you want to like throw people into like the fire and whatnot and chop people's heads off.
You want to eradicate this alien race off this planet.
And that seemed weird because it got vibes that he was like a dictator and a horrible person, but wiping out the whole animal race, I was like, you just saw these animals today.
In the beginning of the film, it didn't even seem like most of this was his idea. It kind of seemed like it's the church using him as a figurehead because
that's true.
He's a failed politician. He didn't win any of his elections, so he decided to run off into space and start his own colony.
Right, church's money.
He's not good at public speaking.
No,
he can't keep his thoughts together. Anytime he needs to say something, his personal assistant or Ilsa needs to help him get it out. So
he's rash with his decisions.
He seemed like an idiot the whole movie, and then towards the end, he turned into like a full-blown dictator.
Right, and murderer.
And
Mark Ruffalo plays the part. I think Mark Ruffalo played the part just like they told him.
Yeah, no.
He's over the top, campy, zany, extravagant, ridiculous. Almost too much, but I think Mark Ruffalo played it to a T like they told him. Yeah. So I'm not blaming Mark Ruffalo for it. I'm maybe blaming the writing for like, why does he need to be so over the top? Ain't nobody going nowhere.
Yeah.
Y'all stuck on this planet with him. Like, y'all chose to come here.
Yeah.
So what are we doing? I don't know.
But it also seems like the crew was made up of a lot of believers as well.
True. He does have a cult like following.
Most of the crew seems to be cultish, with the exception of whoever the security officers are.
Our main cast.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
essentially everybody else seems to be like in line with his craziness.
Right. Like the roles were fine, but they undercut the seriousness of the message that I think the movie was trying to portray.
Yeah.
In my opinion. So that is it for our list of characters. Did you have any other characters you want to speak about?
No.
Okay. So let's get into our likes and dislikes. I think we have the same first one on my list. I enjoyed the first third of the movie. You already mentioned that, where we get like the exposition and the backstory, and we find out how we go from Mickey 1 to Mickey 17. Mm-hmm. All that was good because the movie's moving pretty quickly, and we seeing a lot of different things of how a person can die and what they subjected him to, and then we all get his backstory with Nasha. All that's great. And then when we get to the planet is when it starts to fall off, which unfortunately is like the last 2/3 of the movie.
Yeah.
And then by the last third, I was like, can we just do whatever we gonna do?
Yeah.
So we can wrap this up. So that goes to my second note of pacing and editing was a little slow. I did feel bad for the animals that we meet, that the creepers that we meet, but I didn't feel no like personal connection to the animals, because we get the animals talk or make sounds, and one of the scientists makes a translator so that Mickey can talk to the animals, and that's where it gets real Starship Troopery. Yeah. Because we're talking to the animals, but the animal talk real slow and Mickey talk real slow, and we're just going back. And, like, each sentence takes like 5 minutes, and I'm just saying.
That third act.
Write it down. I don't know.
So the third act where they're out in the snow trying to communicate with like the head honcho creeper.
Yeah, the queen creeper.
It took so long.
Because they talk.
And it's like you knew what the conversation was going to come to, right, like what the conclusion was going to be, but they
it dragged. That last part dragged, and there's a lot of talking amongst our characters, and you're like, just do it. And then I already said this, but I wasn't in love with Robert Pattinson's voice, but I eventually became just in the back of my head thought. It didn't distract me from the movie. So if you think his voice is like distracting, it's not. You get used to it pretty quick. So I didn't really say any likes there, but those was like a hodgepodge of other things.
So I'll start with likes. I liked the visual effects. I thought the visual effects on the creatures especially was pretty good. Looks good. Very Star Warsy.
Agree.
I liked the crap. I should have wrote that down.
Uh-oh.
I liked the visual effects. There was one thing that I didn't.
Production design?
That I didn't. No, set design.
Okay.
I liked the set design. Okay. I liked the way the ship was set up.
Yes. I wish we would have seen more, because it looked like it was huge. Yeah. But we don't get too many wide angle shots. No. So that would have been nice to see, like, the depth of how big the ship was.
We pretty much only seen the same areas of the ship over and over again. We get the cafeteria, we get the hallway to Mickey's room, we get Mickey's room, and we get the room where the trash goes. Yeah. We pretty much just get those all
Which is
over
interesting
again.
Given the budget of this movie.
But the ship is very Aliens looking.
Yeah,
which is not hard to do.
It's very large.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's gray. It's very metal. It's very modular. It's got a lot of pipes and stuff and panels. I like the way the ship was set up. I like the side characters.
Which ones?
So Kay, for example.
Okay, the friend of the crew, I guess.
And Kay's friend who died.
Oh yeah, that was sad.
I liked them. I liked some of the people who worked on the deck. I was entertained by the guy who worked on the loading dock, who kept yelling at everybody who pulled in, who walked in and walked out. I mean, he was so extra.
He was
constantly
extra,
hollering. And he was like 4 foot tall, but I thought he was entertaining.
Okay, he was cool.
They did a good job of showing the working people all over the ship. And I guess that goes into the commentary of the working class, because everybody was pretty much working very hard.
All day.
The side characters in the cafeteria, the scientists.
Yeah, and if you did something that the marshals didn't like, they would like cut your food rations. Yeah. So that was crazy. Yeah, I don't like that either.
I enjoyed the lead scientist, Gemma. No, not Gemma. Who was the lead scientist? Was it Dorothy? Whatever her name was.
Okay.
The lead scientist girl, the one who developed the translator. I liked her. I liked that she kept coming back. She seemed to be the only one who like had a humane interest in Mickey.
Yeah, she kind of felt bad garbage. Whenever they had to like put him in a tank and make him suffer. She kind of like was looking over like, oh no.
Yeah, so I like the side characters. As far as dislikes, like we said, the pacing, it kind of kept slowing down.
Yeah.
It pretty much ended the last half an hour felt like a full hour.
You was ready to go.
Yeah. Another, like, I'll mention this again, I thought the McGonagall plot should have been like its own movie.
That could have, the guy copying himself and them not finding out until after they arrested the two. I was like, oh, that could have been his own movie.
It kind of reminded me of The Prestige a little bit.
Yeah.
Which was the same plot.
A little bit
except
same.
They were magicians.
Yeah. Copying and drowning.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen The Prestige, highly recommend it. But yeah, that was a good... I mean, it was like, 2 minutes of the movie, but it was pretty good.
I like the alien creatures. I like that they weren't like hostile. I like that they were smart. I do think that the scene where they had to like talk to the head honcho one dragged out long, and they did talk very slow, but I thought the baby ones were cute.
They were cute. I feel bad for the baby ones.
I like that they had facial expressions. The scene when Mark Ruffalo is insulting them and the baby one stands up and spits at him.
Yes.
I thought that was cute.
I guess we're supposed to know they must have been intelligent enough to know English.
So they could understand humans, but I guess
maybe
we could
not the other
understand
way.
them.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So they
I'll take it. It's fine.
It was sad when they died. They shot one to pieces.
Yeah, that was awful.
And
then Mark Ruffalo kind of tortures one when he hangs it on a hook. I'm like,
Toni Collette cuts off one's tail, puts it in a blender, and makes sauce.
Yeah, I think that might have been the same one.
Yeah.
The marshals were awful, so they played that part well.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Pretty terrible.
Pretty terrible people.
That is all I have for likes and dislikes.
All right, so let's get into the ending. So I said you could guess it. So the ending is Mickey 17 and 18 basically stage a plot to take the baby that they captured, give it back to Queen Creeper, because she says, if y'all don't get my kid back, I'm killing all of y'all. So they stage to go get the kid, bring it back with the help of Nasha.
And 18 still wants to kill.
18 still wants to kill Kenneth Marshall. So he gets his wish. He kills Kenneth. They get the baby back to the Creeper. All is well. And basically when they kill Kenneth, it basically destroys the hierarchy of power. So now the rest of the people on the ship kind of get to take over and establish a new way of living, a way of life. They do stay on the island. They do stay on Niflheim, the planet, and colonize it. But Nasha is the head of the council. So instead of having like a president, I guess they have like a council now. And she elects to blow up the human printer to get rid of the expendable program. So Mickey 17 gets to say 17. 18 sacrifices himself to blow up with Kenneth Marshall. So we actually only with 17 for maybe like 27 minutes.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, we only were 18 for that long, which is fine because he had to go.
He had to go.
I didn't like him.
Yeah, he was a troublemaker.
He obviously had a death wish, so he got to do what he wanted. And it pretty much ends up being a happy ending.
Yeah.
You think about it. There's no somebody pops up. There's no somebody lives after you thought they was dead. 17 gets to stay 17 and I guess essentially be a normal person.
Yeah, he goes back to being Mickey Barnes instead of being 17.
Right, and him and Nasha get to stay together. They blow up the expendable program printer, and all is well within this new world that they live in.
It seems like they've made peace with the creepers as well. They've changed their symbol to the sign of a creeper.
Yes, and they live in one with the creepers who wasn't trying to bother them no way.
No.
Which is typically how colonization goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Humans show up and wreck everything. So, yeah. But that was, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. There was, like I said, no major plot twists, and that was kind of, the movie just kind of went off, and you were like, okay,
yeah,
that's it, that's the end. Do you have a favorite line or scene?
I don't think I have a favorite line or scene.
Oh, I got one.
Sure.
17 and 18 are trying to both save and kill Timu because 17 wants to save him because that's his friend. 18 wants to kill him because he is the reason why they got stuck with the loan shark. So there's this back and forth, and it's edited really well where Timu is he doesn't see them at the same time. He doesn't know they're multiples. So he's getting the nice one, then he's getting the mean one. Then he's getting the nice one and getting the mean one. He just looks like, what the heck is going on? It's weird. So that was a well-crafted shot where you have one character don't realize he's talking to two different people. I
would say that my favorite part of the movie was the Manakova plot.
Okay. The part of the movie that wasn't the part of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It was good. If anybody listening, that's a movie you can make right there.
That was well written.
Right. Yeah. And don't copy the same storylines.
And they like
do something else.
Told the whole story in like 30 seconds.
They sure did. It
was very good.
It was pretty interesting though. Yeah. And the way they kind of like set it up and get a little back. I mean, it was clean cut, good plot. I was like, somebody could write this down and make a whole nother movie. All right, so that is it for our favorite line or scene. Do you have any random notes?
I don't have any random notes. I think I kind of just blurred them out all through the rest of the review.
I think I did as well. I think I said every... No, my only question was, what was everybody else doing for 4 years? But I guess they was just running the ship.
Yeah.
Keeping the ship.
I mean, we don't know how long it took them to develop the lung
Yeah, I know, like the science. Oh, right. So I wonder... There's not a lot of time. They didn't
say how long it took to travel to the planet.
Oh, 4 years.
It did. So 4 years of travel.
4 years, but we don't really, outside of what the scientists are doing and Mickey is doing for 4 years. I don't know what everybody else is doing for 4 years. Like keeping the ship running.
I don't know. It didn't seem like they were in cryo sleep.
Right, and it seemed like there's a lot of people on this ship.
Yeah.
So that was just one random question I have, and then. You answered my question of where did Mark Ruffalo get his money from? I forgot he was backed by the church.
Yes.
Cult. So a very expensive church or a very wealthy church to be sending people on a new planet.
Yeah.
So that was pretty interesting. All right. So that is it for most of our review. Last part of it, our rating.
All right. So I will give this I will give this a 3.5.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll give it a 3.5. I thought that it had good writing in some places, but bad writing in some other places.
Yeah.
It was paced well in the earlier part of the film, but paced not very well in the last part of the film.
Yeah.
I thought Mickey 17 was okay to insufferable. 18 was just fully insufferable.
It's just so drastic. They're so drastic.
Naomi Ackie made up for a lot of that.
Okay.
I wanted to see more of Mark Ruffalo and Toni Collette going into this, but I mean, we didn't see that much of them. We got more of Mark Ruffalo than we got of Toni Collette.
Yeah.
Mark Ruffalo's character was just a little bit all over the place for me.
He was
a little inconsistent.
Very all over the place.
Toni Collette's whole motivation was unserious. I guess it's also a commentary on the working class and rich people. Her like she's doing all of this exploitation so she can have sauce. 5 years worth of sauce, and it's like, well, that's such a superficial rich person thing to worry about.
She was worried about her rug, which I felt her, because
the rug made more sense than the sauce.
Kendall was about to blast Mickey 17 in the head with a gun on her rug, and she was like, hold up, let me move my rug out the way. And I was like, I mean, that's kind of fair. Yeah. I don't know where she getting this rug at on this new planet, so I get it. But overall, they were horrible people.
Yeah, so it has pluses and minuses in a lot of the same areas for me.
Yeah, so interesting. So 3.5 for you.
3.5 Nicole Kidman's.
I'm gonna echo 3. I was leaning towards 3, but I'm gonna be a little nicer because the acting between Naomi and Robert Pattinson being able to play the two different people was pretty good.
Yeah,
and it looked good. It's just the pacing was a little slow.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe my expectations might have been too high. I don't know. I was expecting to really, really enjoy this. I'm going to give it a 3.5 as well.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you to wait for streaming though. I don't know if this is a necessary theater experience.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Yeah. It's very long though. It's a very long movie.
It feels like 2 hours and 17 minutes.
Yeah.
Which is not... I don't mind long movies if the movie doesn't make me feel like it's long.
Which is crazy to say now because now long movies are like 3 hours and change. But this is still long.
It feels like it, unfortunately. So, you know, I mean, depending on how this does the box office, WB may put this on HBO Max in like 30 days. So...
Hopefully it has legs. 20 million is not great for an opening for this budget, and a B cinema score won't help that too much, but
no.
Hopefully good positive word of mouth keeps this.
I just want the box office experts to make sure they stump on this just like they stumped on Brave New World.
Yeah.
But I bet you we won't. Anywho, that is our review for Mickey 17. What are we watching next week?
Black Bag, which I'm hearing is really good reviews.
It is.
Or Opus, which I haven't heard anything about.
Exactly. So it's which one we don't watch next week, we're going to watch the other one the week after. So I don't know which one is first. But Black Bag does have like
Black Bag is giving me my like espionage feels,
right?
My murder mystery,
sexy, luxurious,
something I need to figure out.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's Cate Blanchett and Michael Fassbender.
Michael Fassbender.
No knock to anybody in Opus, but just saying. So it might be Black Bag first, and then we'll do Opus.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
that'll be our next episode. Let us know if you saw Mickey 17.
Yeah.
How you feel about it? We could be wrong and y'all could be right. I'm just kidding. Art is subjective, right?
Let us know if you're a fan of the source material and if the source material was better than the actual movie.
True, because I didn't read the book.
Me either.
So maybe it's a big difference between the 7 and the 17. But let us know in your comments. But yeah, that'll conclude our episode. So thanks for listening. If you like our show, please give it a share. We never really know who's going to do the closing, so we each just have this weird awkward moment. But I'm going to finish it. You can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or on our website, vaguelynerdypodcast.com, where you can leave us a voicemail and we can play it on our show. If it's nice. If it's not nice, I will air it out on every public account that I can and give a rebuttal. You can also follow us on Threads and IG at Vaguely Nerdy Podcast. We are also on Blue Sky and Twitter for now at Vaguely Nerdy Pod. You can reach us at vaguelynerdypodcast@gmail.com. And if you are listening to us on a podcast app, you can watch our animated show on YouTube, where we are also Vaguely Nerdy Podcast.
Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.